the channel in the last few weeks, you've seen that I've been addressing the geometry issues stemming from the 6-inch lift that I've installed on my 80 series Land Cruiser. This week we're going to be addressing the driveline vibrations that have been stemming again from the change in angle from the transfer case to the differential housings. There's a few options you have available to you to modify existing drive shafts or have new ones made in order to solve this problem. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so this is the stock Toyota 80 series Land Cruiser front drive shaft with this slip joint. It's not dual Cardan. This is next to this was a 95 Toyota Tacoma. Both are small pattern on the flange, small patterns, but this one obviously is the dual Cardan. So if you look at them about end to end, this one is a little bit longer, and this one has already been taken, or it's already decompressed the slip joint out of the main part of the drive shaft. So this one may be long enough. We're gonna do the measurement from flange to flange on the Land Cruiser in just a second. But I just wanted to show a side-by-side comparison. According to my Driveline guide, this is the exact one I need. If you remember from an earlier video, this is the drive shaft out of a newer Tundra. And it's definitely long enough. It would have to be cut and welded, re-welded to work. The issue is, and he pointed this out to me when I brought this to him, is that these older drive shafts that Toyota was making are welded here, right at the slip joint. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they're just welded right here at the end of the actual hollow point of the drive shaft. So this is what he needed. I'm gonna figure that out. Future Austin will let you know exactly why when we go to that. But for whatever reason, he said he needed this style of joint or seam right there. This one does not have that, and the only reason I can think is that this was cold welded and this was just MIG welded, obviously, because you can see the MIG welding. So this one they did robotically, I would assume, in water or underwater. I don't know how they do that, but yeah, this is cold welded. So when he's going to cut this off to put, to retube it or to put this onto the old one, I'm not sure exactly what method he'll use, this would not work. So, because I saw something on I Hate Mud saying that a Tundra would work. I think the T100s, the original Tundras, will work because they are, again, going to have this MIG bead on them and be easier to transfer or to work with. I'm not sure exactly. He also showed me how, I guess, I don't know. Future Austin will explain more, but this is what you need. I got this out of a 95 Tacoma. This is the rear drive shaft, the portion from the carrier bearing back to the rear differential, and that's all you need. You don't need that other section. All right, so we're underneath our truck here. This is going to be our transfer case, pinion flange, and of course that is our differential. So we need the distance from here to here. I'm about to drop the drive shaft off at my drive shaft guy's shop, and I want to make sure that I get it right. I'm getting 33 again. Repeating, of course, chance of survival. Leroy Jenkins? No? Anyone? All right, guys, so I just got the Driveline back from my friend who retubed it. He just used some thick wall American steel tubing and cut both the yoke end and obviously the double Cardan joint and welded it to that. He also was nice enough to turn it with some sandpaper and got a really nice polish out of the, I guess it's iron or, well, steel and then iron. These are the Koyo joints, and I know from what little research that I've done that they're very high quality. He actually was nice enough to go ahead and just clear coat this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and run the raw metal look. I think it's pretty cool. I might end up painting it. What he was saying is that the benefit of these drive shafts are this Zerk right here. There's another grease fitting in it right here. And then obviously you have both of your grease joints or grease nipples there, as well as one inside here and one here. So just to compare side by side, it looks like the stock one is longer, but that's because the yoke is all the way to the splines out of the end there. So after reinstalling the front drive shaft that I had custom made out of that Tacoma drive shaft, I realized that the rear drive shaft yoke was too far out of the slip joint there, and the splines were starting to show actually. So I had to pony up the extra few $100 and had the stock 80 series Land Cruiser rear drive shaft lengthened. We used the same, I think it's right around a 1/4 inch thick wall American steel for the tube. So he does, I'll put up a few videos of his buggy.
Do something stupid!
He's really into, off-road racing and, winch racing and competitions, and he swears by this kind of steel. He says you can have the whole weight of the truck rested on this, and it should take it without denting. The reason why we decided to go with the stock rear drive shaft is because of the angle that, and I'll show you when it's in the truck, the angle that this is sticking up, first of all, from the diff pinion, is not pointed straight up at the transfer case flange. So if it was, then it would be kind of like this. The diff housing is like over here. Right now, it's pointed kind of like this, a little bit lower, which is fine. But what I've seen on I Hate Mud is this is called the broken back method, where you have that joint down here, which is bent, and then you're going to have this joint up here bent as well. So if you can kind of picture that, you have two bends. The other issue we found is that the difference, if you were going to go with a rear drive shaft out of a, say, Tacoma, like I did for the front, the issue is that it's going to be small pattern like this, whereas this is large pattern. So the patterns are different between these. This is a smaller pattern than this. So you wouldn't be able to just bolt, say this is the same pattern as the Tacoma. You wouldn't be able to just straight bolt that into the rear. You would have to modify the flanges, which I do not want to do. While we have this out of the truck, I thought it'd be a good time to show how I'm going to go about greasing the drive shaft, to kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like to service them. Obviously, it's really easy. You're just going to fit a grease gun over that. But I ended up going to Harbor Freight. I just went with the Holt, I guess it is. I ended up going with Valvoline. It's a moly-based grease. I forget. I'll put it up here. Put what it is up here. Okay, so we got our fittings all figured out, pressed into the Zerk, and everything's connected. Everything's been primed. So we're just going to go ahead and use our pistol grip and start greasing. It might be kind of hard to catch on camera. But anyways, the slip joint's starting to come out from the pressure of the grease. So that's how I know that one's good. I'm gonna move on to the next. All right, so now that we've got our rear drive shaft greased up, we're going to go ahead and install it. So drive lines are back in. All the grease fittings have been re-greased. There are 5 on this Tacoma shaft. There's the 2 here, 1 you can't see inside, and then 2 on that end. And you already saw me re-grease all these. Just took it for a drive on the highway. Very little vibrations whatsoever. And I got up to about 75 miles an hour and no problems whatsoever. So again, you can run a dual Cardan shaft with the Cardan joint on this end if you need to. Again, I have a 6-inch lift, and I don't know what it ends up being. I'll have to do hub to fender measurement. But I'm doing, the broken back method, which again is, this is at one angle, this is at another angle. And it's actually good from what my Driveline guy was talking to me about. He was saying something about the needles having pressure on them or something. So I kind of get, I think, what he's talking about. Anyways, yeah, no more vibrations. Again, it is cut to the right length. There's the extra grease coming out from when I fit more grease in there. And then this is the stock OEM Land Cruiser rear shaft, again, retubed and lengthened. And we are good as far as Driveline vibrations go. Next, we're going to be working on the all this wiring here, running the wiring and doing extended brake lines. So I've got 1 back there and then 2 up here. So you got this one, the frame mount side, and there's another frame mount that's going right there into the diff housing right next to the differential breather. It's all unbolted for now, just so it, you know, it had enough play. But I will be getting new, those 3 new brake cables, and I think that's all I need. Ironman 4x4 will have them ready for me at will call on Monday, so I'll be making a video on that, as well as installing these rear sway bar and front sway bar. So I'll be doing all that in the next video next week. Yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys before Christmas next week. But until next time, I'll see you on the trails.